What's up, everybody? And today we're going to be ranking David Fincher's movies. I was going to wait to do this list. I was going to wait for Mank, but I decided, whatever, let's do it. Let's do it right now. David Fincher has got to be top 3 directors ever. I think all of his movies, except one, are amazing. The one that I don't like as much is still really good. So coming in at number 9 as my least favorite Fincher film. Oh, by the way, I'm not counting Alien 3 because he didn't do that film. I'm just saying he didn't do that film. Because he says he didn't do that film. So coming in number 9 is going to be The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. It's not that I don't dislike this movie. It's just it uninterested me. This story is not interesting to me whatsoever. The performances are still good. It just felt very slow and boring sometimes. But when the parts that were good, they were good. The writing's still really good. It's good. It's like I'd give this film a 3.5 stars. Coming in at number 8 is gonna be The Game. The Game is a really good movie. Really good. Michael Douglas's performance is really good. And the weirdness of this movie is also really good. What holds this film back from being really good is the ending. Didn't really hit with me. Still good though. I only have minor issues. Yeah, the ending, and then some of the. It was just the beginning was a little slow, but then it picked up and it got really good. So I would give this film a 4.5 stars. Coming in at number 7 is gonna be Panic Room. Now this movie is super entertaining movie. So entertaining. The performances by Jodie Foster and Jared Leto and what's his name? Forrest Whitaker are really good. And Kirsten Stewart, young Kirsten Stewart's in the movie, and she's also really good. The story in this movie, I always thought it was super interesting about a burglary. Them hiding, being in a room, trapped in a room, while the burglars are like trying to find them. I thought that story is so interesting. And this movie is just nonstop entertainment, nonstop. The ending did hit for me. It did hit for me. It was a good ending. And I would give this film a 4.5 stars. Coming in at number 6 is going to be Zodiac. This may be a hot take, but I found this film, some parts, extremely boring. Not extremely boring, but pretty boring. But the good parts were some of the best parts of David Fincher movies. So good, the parts that were good. And the performances in this movie, every performance is good by Jake Gyllenhaal, which I really do like Jake Gyllenhaal a lot, and this is one of his best performances. He's really good in this movie. Robert Downey Jr., Mark Ruffalo, they're all really good in this movie. And the story of the Zodiac Killer, I've always been interested in, so I'm glad I watched this movie. And I'd give this movie a 4.5 stars. Coming in number 5 is going to be The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. This is one of my favorite romance movies ever. This was the second latest Fincher movie I watched. I haven't seen this movie. I hadn't seen this movie yet, but I watched it for the first time like 2 days ago, and it's already one of my favorite romance films. The performances by both Brad Pitt and Cate Blanchett, really good. This movie got nominated for like 13 Oscars. That's crazy. It deserves them, but it didn't win a lot. It got nominated for a lot, but didn't win a lot. And then the visual effects in this movie are like some of the best visual effects ever. And how the story, it's probably his most unique story, probably one of the most unique stories in a movie ever. How a guy that ages downwards, it's so interesting. And the first half, I gotta admit, it's a little slow. I do like slow movies, but it was a little slow. The second half was like really good. So good. Coming in at number 4 is gonna be Gone Girl. Now, I love this movie. Top 20 of all time. And that's how much I love this director. Top 20 of all time. Gone Girl is just so good. I've rewatched this movie about 5 times, and it was all, I think it was 5 days in a row. I watched this movie 5 times, and this is so good. I think Rosamund Pike was snubbed of the Oscar. I haven't seen Julianne Moore and Still Alice yet, but she was snubbed heavily. She was so good in this movie. And Ben Affleck, I think he was heavily snubbed too for an Oscar. And this was snubbed of so many Oscars, like writing, Best Picture. Personally, it's my favorite movie of 2014. So I would have given it Best Picture because I love this movie so much. Coming in at number 3 is going to be The Social Network. This movie probably has some of the best writing in a movie ever. I think it's top 3 screenplays ever. I think this movie in the performances by Jesse Eisenberg and Andrew Garfield are so good, and the story about Mark Zuckerberg is so good. I usually think this movie was overrated, and it's such a good movie. Coming in at number 2 is going to be Fight Club. This is definitely my most rewatchable Fincher movie. I think this movie is so good, so entertaining. It's like amazing. And the writing in this movie is so good. And I think Tyler Durden should have got an Oscar nomination, or Brad Pitt, because he is so good. So is Ed Norton. It's not the best film of 1999, but it's still so good. And coming in number 1 as my favorite Fincher movie ever, and one of my favorite movies of all time, one of the best movies of all time, Seven. Now, this movie is a masterpiece. I have no flaws with it. I think the top 4 Fincher movies I have 0 flaws with. But this movie is just so good. The ending is one of the greatest movie endings ever. Again, Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman, heavily snubbed. Heavily snubbed. They should have gotten nominations for sure. I would have had it nominated for Best Picture. I don't think it deserves best. If it was nominated, I didn't think it deserves it. But I love this movie, and this movie is so good and one of the best of 1995, and just one of the best of all time. And that was my list of ranking all David Fincher's movies. Drop in the comments down below, what is your Fincher ranking? And thanks everybody for watching.